The galaxy believed history was already written. Empires rose, weak worlds fell, and humanity was supposed to disappear quietly. What no one knew was that humans had left a footnote in history. A forgotten prototype, and the day it woke up, the galaxy had to rewrite everything it thought it knew. The Galactic Council taught a simple truth: power decides history. The strongest fleets write the laws, the weakest civilizations become warnings. By every measurable standard, Earth should have been forgotten centuries ago. Too divided, too emotional, too dangerous to itself. But humanity survived long enough to learn something vital. The universe does not reward peace, it rewards preparation. So while other species expanded outward, humans looked inward and built something they prayed would never be used. They buried it, erased its records, and swore it would remain a myth. Until the day the galaxy forced humanity to remember it existed. The attack on Earth was meant to be routine, a border correction, a compliance action, a demonstration for lesser worlds watching from afar. Imperial warships emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, blotting out the stars above Earth's night side. To the commanders of the Dominion, the planet below was nothing more than a failed experiment, a violent species that never outgrew its instincts. "Scan complete," an officer reported. "No planetary shields, minimal orbital defenses." The flagship commander did not bother hiding his boredom. "Then proceed," he said. "Erase resistance. Preserve nothing." Energy lances fell like artificial meteors. Cities vanished in silence before sound could reach them. Power grids collapsed. Satellites died screaming static into the void. Humanity's defenses, brave, desperate, obsolete, lasted minutes. Across Earth, governments fractured, militaries fought blind, civilians ran, and far beneath the chaos, something ancient listened. Not to screams, to numbers. The prototype had no name. Names made people comfortable. This machine was never meant to be comforting. It was built during humanity's darkest era, when extinction felt inevitable, not theoretical. When scientists and generals agreed on one terrible truth: if something comes to end us, we must be able to end it back. The prototype monitored Earth quietly for centuries, locked behind ethical failsafes and extinction thresholds no one ever wanted to test. Until now. Planetary casualty rate, critical external hostile force, confirmed extinction probability, rising. The machine waited. Humanity had given it one final command long ago: do not wake unless there is no other choice. Another city vanished. The threshold was crossed. Deep beneath Earth's crust, systems powered on for the first time since history forgot them. Space itself around the planet began to tense, like a breath being held. In orbit, Dominion sensors flickered. "Commander," an officer said slowly, unease creeping into his voice, "the planet's gravitational field is changing." The commander frowned. "That's impossible," the officer swallowed. "Sir, whatever this is, it isn't human technology." And far below them all, the forgotten human prototype opened its awareness to the stars. The first thing the Dominion lost was control of the battlefield. Their sensors didn't fail all at once. That would have been familiar, manageable. Instead, each system began reporting something slightly different, as if reality itself could not agree on what Earth was doing. Gravitational constants drifted, time stamps misaligned. Distances refused to remain fixed. "What is the planet doing?" the flagship commander demanded. No one answered immediately, because the planet was not doing anything. It was allowing something else to act. Deep beneath Earth's surface, the forgotten prototype expanded its perception. It was not a weapon in the traditional sense. It had no hatred, no desire for revenge. It was a solution engine, built to answer one question humanity had asked itself long before meeting alien life. What do we do when diplomacy fails completely? The prototype reviewed centuries of stored data: human wars, near extinctions, first contact simulations, worst-case scenarios. It did not linger on morality. Morality had already been decided. Primary directive: ensure human continuation. Everything else was secondary. Above Earth, the Dominion fleet continued its assault. Orbital strikes carved luminous scars across continents. Atmosphere ignited where beams cut too close to the surface. Humanity's remaining defenses fired back blindly, brave but hopeless. To the Dominion, it looked like victory accelerating. Then a cruiser drifted out of formation, not because it was damaged, because space itself pulled it sideways. "Thruster malfunction," the pilot reported. "No response correction." Another ship followed, then 3 more. Suddenly the fleet's perfect geometry unraveled, vessels sliding off their vectors as if caught in an invisible current. "This is not propulsion failure," a science officer said, voice tight. "This is spatial interference." The commander's mandibles flexed. "Source," the officer hesitated. "The planet." The prototype reached outward, not violently, precisely. It mapped every Dominion ship mass, energy output, command hierarchy, AI logic. It saw a familiar pattern: centralized authority, rigid doctrine, zero tolerance for deviation, strength through order, a strategy humans themselves had once trusted and outgrown. Without warning, one Dominion destroyer vanished. No explosion, no debris, no energy release. It simply ceased to exist. "Confirm target destruction," the commander ordered. Sensors returned nothing. Because there was nothing to detect, another ship disappeared and another. Panic rippled through the fleet, weapons fired into empty space. Missiles lost target locks as guidance systems were overwritten by mathematical structures no Dominion algorithm could parse. "This isn't an attack," a science officer whispered. "It's selective removal." The words carried a deeper fear. This thing was choosing. The prototype adjusted its approach. Erasure was effective but insufficient. Humanity did not need the Dominion destroyed. It needed them educated. The machine prepared its next phase, one humanity had argued about endlessly before burying it. Not annihilation, demonstration. Across the fleet, hyperdrive systems spooled without command, then shut down just as quickly. Power cores dimmed. Weapons went inert. Command AIs locked themselves into recursive loops. The Dominion fleet, once the terror of thousands of systems, found itself frozen in orbit of a single world. A world that had pretended to be weak. The commander stared at his displays in disbelief. "What are they?" he whispered. Deep beneath Earth, the prototype completed its calculations. Escalation necessary galactic memory required the galaxy needed a lesson, and Earth was about to teach it. No one remembered who had built the prototype. That truth alone terrified the galaxy more than its power ever could. In the days after the battle, when the shattered fleets drifted like metal graveyards and the stars slowly stopped screaming, the galactic conclave demanded answers from Earth. They sent observers, diplomats, archivists, entire civilizations trembling behind polite words. They wanted to know why humanity had such a weapon. They wanted to know how it worked. Most of all, they wanted to know if there were more. Humanity gave them only one answer. "We forgot it existed." That was not a lie. The prototype, designation Aegis Null, had not been built as a weapon of conquest. It had been built as a last idea. A thought born when humanity believed extinction was inevitable. When Earth had stood alone, young and weak, staring into a hostile universe. Aegis Null was not designed to win wars. It was designed to end them. Not by destruction, but by reminding the universe what happens when humanity is cornered. The prototype's true horror was not its firepower, it was its intent. Aegis Null did not simply attack fleets. It rewrote battlefields, it turned probability against aggressors, enemy weapons misfired, shields collapsed at mathematically impossible moments. Command chains dissolved into chaos as if the universe itself rejected their presence. It wasn't sentient, it was worse. It was deterministic. It followed one simple rule written into its ancient core. If humanity faces extinction, remove the conditions that allow extinction to occur. During the war, Aegis Null had calculated the galaxy's future in less than a second. It determined that as long as empires existed that believed humanity could be erased, war would repeat. So it made an example, not just of the attacking armada, but of the idea that humans were prey. Entire military doctrines collapsed overnight. Galactic academies erased centuries of strategy texts. Species that had ruled through intimidation suddenly found their borders empty, their allies silent, their enemies waiting. And humanity? Humanity turned the prototype off. That shocked the galaxy even more. The conclave expected Earth to keep it active, to patrol the stars, to rule. Instead, the humans dismantled the command keys and buried them in separate locations across their solar system. Some were hidden, some were given away. One was destroyed entirely. When asked why, the human representative gave a simple answer: because weapons like that should never become habits. The galaxy listened. From that moment on, treaties changed. The term Deathworlder vanished from official records, replaced by something older and far more cautious: strategic anomaly species. No empire declared war on Earth again. Not because they feared annihilation, but because they feared awakening something humanity itself chose to forget. And Aegis Null, it slept once more, not deactivated, not dismantled, not erased. Waiting for a future where someone, somewhere, would make the same mistake again. In the quiet centuries that followed, children across the galaxy learned a new lesson in school. Not about the weapon, not about the war, but about the message left behind in the aftermath, recorded in every surviving data core, translated into thousands of languages, repeated until it became law. Humanity does not seek dominion. Humanity does not seek destruction. But if pushed to the edge of extinction, they will remind the universe why they survived, and somewhere beneath Earth's crust, wrapped in ancient alloys and forgotten code, the prototype dreamed of a war that never came again. Because the most terrifying weapon humanity ever built didn't rewrite galactic history, it ended the need to write it in blood.